Good evening. Welcome to Gita Discussion with Lakshmi. This beautiful September 20th, 2023. Welcome all. I think September 20th is a significant day. Wasn't it Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico?
Yeah.
On September 20th.
You have to check the group to sign away.
Okay. Hi, Sid, Eleanor. Can you see me?
Yes.
Yes.
We are sharing the screen with Sid also.
You can't see me?
I can.
Yes,
Okay.
perfectly well.
Okay, wonderful. Okay. For some reason, I'm not appearing on the screen here.
Wait, Daddy, they can pin you. They can pin you.
Can you pin me? Because for some reason, I'm not on the screen.
That will help you. I did.
Okay. Well,
Are you
okay.
there? I did.
Yeah, I don't see myself, but
No, it's not about me pinning you.
oh. Okay, so we'll just start as we have it here.
Can I ask everybody to mute the mic?
Okay. So we shall start the invocation mantras to our teacher or teachers, those personalities, wonderful personalities that are enlightening our path with the torchlight of knowledge. Om Agyano Timurandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam jena bhutale Svayam rupa gadamayam Dadati swapodantigam Maom Vishnu Padayo Krishna Prestayo Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vastutyadi Shatarine Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, let us begin our reading from the 11th chapter, the Universal Form. I believe we left off at I'm going to start text 32. I may have read this last time, but I am marked off here at 32, 33. So the Universal Form, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna says, "Time I am, the great destroyer of the worlds, and I have come here to destroy all people. With the exception of you, the Pandavas, all the soldiers here on both sides will be slain." So what is Krishna's all-destructive form? That's called Kala Rupa. The word Rupa means form. So Kala means time. So Krishna's form as time. And he's saying here in this verse, "Time I am, the great destroyer of all worlds." The time element in this world is a deteriorating process. We see it in our own life, our own bodies, that we were born. Dehinosmin yata dehe kamaram jovaram jara tata dehantara praptir dhiras tatra namuyati. So we were born, we grew to baby, from baby to youth, adolescence, and then eventually old age will be there. So it's a deteriorating process. And Krishna says that this time factor, my form of time, is the destroyer, is the destruction of all worlds. And specifically here, Krishna is referring to the two armies. And that's a lot of army, 18 Akshahinis. Now there's different opinions on how many that actually means, but it's literally, one thing we can be sure of, it's hundreds of thousands that are destroyed. I was just reading recently, if that sounds unbelievable, and I think Prabhupada refers to the millions of how many were killed. But I just read that in World War II, in the attack on Stalingrad, there were 640,000 deaths. And that's in our own experience here, during our time. But what Krishna is saying here is these 18 Okshahinis of warriors, which are hundreds of thousands of warriors, they'll all be removed. Why? Because Bhumi Devi, feeling the weight of the presence of these warring forces, and as particularly kings are supposed to be Raja Rishis. Raja, king, Rishi means saintly. They're supposed to be saintly kings. That's what is the standard of leadership according to the Puranas and the Itihasyas and other Vedic literatures, that a king should be saintly. But what had happened, there was an accumulation of kings that weren't saintly, but were just downright self-centered. And that, coupled with the forces, the amount of soldiers, warring forces that they accumulated, creates a great pressure on the demigoddess of earth, Bhumi Devi. So Bhumi Devi approached Brahma, and Brahma approached Lord Vishnu, and they begged that somehow or another these forces would be diminished. So one of the reasons why, and Krishna explains that earlier, Krishna comes, is he says, Paritarnaya sadhunam vinashaya chaduskritam. Two things: to perform activities that will give pleasure to the devotees, and to annihilate the warring negative elements, the non-qualified elements. We see that in our present day. We see that leaders are, they die from disease early on. They are assassinated. They are kicked out by their own people in so many different ways. But Krishna here, because there was such an accumulation of these forces, Krishna appeared. And that's why Krishna says, "Time I am, the great destroyer of all worlds." So he announces the future to Arjuna, because keep in mind the time reference. The time reference is that Krishna and Arjuna are seated in between both armies before the war. So Krishna here says, "I've come here to destroy all these warriors." So Krishna is he's portending the future, that all these warriors here, with the exception of the Pandavas and a few others, all will be slain. All those that are here, amassed on this battlefield of Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra means the place of Dharma. So that's why earlier on in the Bhagavad Gita, that was mentioned. And Dhritarashtra, the blind king, who is the father of the Duryodhana, the main protagonist in starting this war, and his brothers, that's what made Dhritarashtra nervous, because they're on the battlefield of Dharma. They're on the field of Dharma. And Pandavas always followed Dharma, principles of righteousness and responsibility and duty. And Duryodhana and his uncle Shakuni in particular were not. So that means the very place that they're at will favor the dharmic personalities. So text 33. So after Krishna gives Arjuna, he's talking to him, saying, "I am the destroyer. This is going to happen." Krishna says to Arjuna, Therefore, and this is text 33 of chapter 11, therefore get up, prepare to fight, and win glory. Conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death. And we've discussed this previously also, that they're already put to death, which means that is destiny. That is their destiny. So, Krishna is saying you don't gain anything. You don't gain anything by not fighting. So fight, get up and fight, win your glory, conquer, have a flourishing kingdom, and they are already put to death. Just serve as my instrument. So here we have the Supreme Personality of Godhead asking Arjuna to please just serve as my instrument. If you don't, then there will be another instrument. Their fate is already sealed. They are already put to death by my arrangement, and you, O Sabyasachi, can be but an instrument in the fight. Sabyasachi, I think I mentioned this previously, that when these various names are used, they have a particular significance. So Krishna is calling Sabyasachi because Sabyasachi means one who can fight and be dexterously with either hand, left or right. So that means Arjuna could hold the sword in his left hand or right hand and fight equally as well. Same with a spear, same with a bow and arrow, because Arjuna was an archer. He was known as the best archer. That's why when Karna came onto the scene, it was a real challenge, because Karna, who took the side of Duryodhana on the other side of Krishna, was likened to be Arjuna's competitor in terms of the best archer. So here he's called Sabyasachi, one who can fight ambidextrously with either hand, left or right. Krishna is therefore encouraging Arjuna to use his skills to fight on his behalf. Not just to fight, but to fight as an instrument on behalf of the Supreme himself. Not because of Arjuna's skills, the warriors are as good as dead anyhow. So even though the opposition is already dead, he wishes Arjuna to fight as his instrument. So take note of that. Text 34, Drona, Bhishma. Now Dronacharya, he is the teacher of martial arts to all the warriors on both sides. So he is to be revered as their teacher, as their guru. Bhishma, grandfather Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna, and the other great warriors have already been destroyed by me. Therefore, kill them and do not be disturbed. Simply fight and you will vanquish your enemies in battle. So again, we're having the same encouragement by Krishna for the same reasons. They're already dead. Their time is up. The destiny is there. What is going to happen is already set. And now you have a choice to be part of it and become glorious. So this is what Krishna said. Simply fight, and guaranteed you will vanquish your enemies. So here Krishna is encouraging Arjuna to be his instrument. Even though Arjuna earlier was expressing his uncertainty as to who will win the battle, Krishna says, Jeta Asi, you will conquer, to certify that Arjuna will be victorious. Krishna also adds Jayadratha's name. That's a famous story, Jayadratha, to the three warriors already mentioned in text 26. Although he's not as powerful as the others, Jayadratha was given a boon by Lord Shiva to be able to stop the Pandavas once. Because Arjuna knows this, he is concerned about Jayadratha. Krishna assures Arjuna that his concern is unwarranted. So next verse we get, so Jayadratha had this boon that if he was to live to the next day, then he would, Arjuna would, and the Pandavas would perish. And there was a whole long story about how Jayadratha, the Kauravas hid Jayadratha. They didn't want to take him off the battlefield because that would be an embarrassment for a Kshatriya or a warrior. But they hid him way back behind hundreds and hundreds of thousands of warriors. And he just hid down. And so Arjuna didn't have a shot at him, but by Krishna's trick, he made it appear that the sun had gone down, and that Jayadratha now would have the ability to kill the Pandavas. So when Jayadratha poked his head out, it was just a trick by Krishna to get Jayadratha to expose himself. And when he did, Arjuna released his arrow and killed Jayadratha. So that's why Krishna is specifically mentioning Jayadratha's name here, because he is endowed with that boon by Lord Shiva. And that's why Arjuna was a little nervous about him. So Krishna reassures him. So now the dialogue switches. 800 verses, I think over 500 are spoken by Krishna, nearly 100 by Arjuna. And then we have the secondary dialogue between Sanjaya and the blind king Dhritarashtra. So here Sanjaya says something. Sanjaya in text 35 of the 11th chapter, Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, "O king, after hearing these words from Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the trembling Arjuna offers his obeisances with folded hands again and again." There's 4 types of ways you can offer respects or obeisances. This is in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. The first one is your hands on your head. Second one is hands to your heart. The third one is on all fours. It's called the 5-point, because your knees, your 2 hands, and your head. And then finally, the full obeisances or respects is when you're laying out, and it's described as 8 points of the body are touching. So here he's saying, Arjuna, and you offer your respects to someone who is deserving of respect. Someone, of course, like Krishna or any other great personality. Even amongst devotees, I remember when I first became a devotee, a Krishna Bhakta, in 1973 is when I officially joined. 72, I began to officially practice the system of Bhakti Yoga. That what we used to do to each other, we would pay respects. Didn't have to be God or a great personality, but we had to see God in the heart. We had to cultivate the mindset to see God within the heart of everyone. There's a story in this regard. There was in Europe, there was this monastery, and where a number of monks resided, and the head of a monastery, excuse me, is called the abbey or abbot, the head of the monastery. Anyway, he was having difficulty because the monks were arguing. They were arguing amongst each other, about insignificant things. And quite often we see when argument arises, when you break it down objectively, usually they're not very significant reasons why argument is there. But in any case, this was what was going on in the monastery. And the abbot, the monk that was in charge, he was bewildered because it was affecting the congregation. They were seeing that the monks weren't getting along, and certainly that wasn't very encouraging. So that was affecting the whole congregation. So the abbot had a friend who was a rabbi, a little interfaith dialogue. So he went to the rabbi and he said, he wanted advice, what to do. How do I make these monks stop arguing and start appreciating each other? And the rabbi says, I really don't know much, but I can tell you to tell the monks that one of them is the next manifestation of Jesus, and the next manifestation of prophet. And so the abbot thought about it, and he told all the monks that, one of you is the great personality, endowed by all powers by God. And so they started to see each other as that potential prophet, that potential great personality. And therefore, they started to respect each other, and things became very much in the mood of cooperation and respect and appreciation of each other. So that is a very important thing to note, that we offer our respects to each other, whether it's in the mind or whether it's actually physically by folding one's hands or like this, or even getting down. I remember when my mother first came to the ashram where I was living, and some of the other devotees who knew my mother, they introduced her to others, and much to the shock of my mother, they all got down and paid their respects to her, and she was like, what is this? What is this? But that was a very wonderful, inspiring thing to do, to see here's an elderly lady, she is mother. Mother is to be revered. There are 7 types of mothers, and our biological mother is to be held in high esteem, high, great respect. So this is what Arjuna is doing. He's offering respects to Krishna, and then Sanjaya is relaying as he fearfully spoke to Lord Krishna in a faltering voice. Now, this is text 36. Arjuna said, "O master of the senses, the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name, and thus everyone becomes attached to you. Although the perfected beings offer you their respectful homage, the demons are afraid, and they flee here and there. All this is rightly done." So here we have the first, in this particular verse, we have the first of 11 verses of prayers where Arjuna, because as I pointed out earlier, this is where Arjuna makes the transition here externally. He is no more doubt, and he is demonstrating his great reverence and humility before Krishna. So with this verse, text 36, he offers the first of 11 prayers. So what does he say? The world becomes joyful upon hearing your name. Well, this is certainly portending Lord Chaitanya and the Yuga Dharma that he brought over 500 years ago. And that was, Yuga Dharma means the way one can become self-realized. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu emphasized by chanting God's names that one can become realized, enter into a state of meditation, chanting in a proper state of mind, a humble state of mind. Trinada peace, Sanichena, Tadora peace, Ishnuna, Amanida Manadena, Kirtanaya Sadahari. With this state of mind, humble, tolerant, not seeking any name, fame, or adoration for oneself, and offering all respects to others. Therefore, respects to others. And offering respects to others does not just mean, like I said, saintly personalities. That's easy. But all others to offer respect, and even to all living entities, trees and animals. We are very respectful to them. So, so this is the first of the prayers. And there's 10 more, 37. O great one, greater even than Brahma, you are the original creator. Why then should they not offer their respectful obeisances unto you, O limitless one, God of gods, refuge of the universe? You are the invincible source, the cause of all causes, transcendental to this material manifestation. Another thing that Arjuna is showing is the effect of coming in contact with the universal form of Krishna. Not that he needed that, but for all other beings, Arjuna is kind of like, if you've ever heard in English literature, there was a character called Everyman, which was actually representative of humanity, but they personified humanity in one person. And the authors like, Chaucer and previous to Chaucer, they personified humanity into one person. So here, Arjuna is like this everyman. He's acting in such a way as to teach humanity a lesson, how to meet your challenges in life. Number one, taking shelter of God and his instructions, and offering obeisances and respects in that humble state of mind. So this is another thing that we should understand. You are the invincible source, the cause of all causes, transcendental to this material manifestation. So while Virat Rupa is not really transcendental to the material manifestation, it is a form not on the level of incarnations of the Supreme, because it is comprised of all the material elements. And Krishna says, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, ego, these 8 comprise my external material energy, which is inferior. So because this form is meant to humble, and number one, to put one in a state of humility, because in the humble state of mind, one can approach God very submissively, but also as the criteria to demonstrate that you are God. That if someone claims, oh, I am God, then you must demonstrate that, prove that by manifesting this universal form. All of the elements, all of the personalities within this universe, all of the planets, everything can be everything in the material universal shell is within this universal form. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, when the Virat Rupa, or the universalist form, is discussed, the Sanskrit word is used to refer to the universal form as Bhagavat or Bhagavan Rupa. So God has his form in these material elements, but is not material by any means, never is, never will be. He's always transcendental. And that's what Arjuna is saying here. You are transcendental to this material manifestation, but this material manifestation is your energy, and you are personifying this energy so that one can be in awe and humbled by this Virat Rupa. 38, so now we're on the third prayer. You are the original personality of Godhead, the oldest, the ultimate sanctuary of this manifested cosmic world. You are the knower of everything, and you are all that is knowable. You are the supreme refuge above the material modes. O limitless form, this whole cosmic manifestation is pervaded by you. This is text 39, and it's prayer number 4. You are air, and you are the supreme controller. You are fire, you are water, and you are the moon. You are Brahma, the first living creature, and you are the great grandfather. I therefore offer my respectful obeisance unto you 1,000 times and again and yet again. That's the fourth prayer. The fifth prayer, which is text 40, obeisances to you from the front, from behind, and from all sides. O unbounded power, you are the master of limitless might. You are all pervading, and thus you are everything. And this is text 41 and 42, which makes it the 6th and 7th of the 11 prayers. Thinking of you as my friend, I have rashly addressed you, O Krishna, O Yadava, O my friend, not knowing your glories. Please forgive whatever I may have done in madness or in love. I have dishonored you many times, jesting as we relaxed, lay on the same bed, or sat or ate together, sometimes alone and sometimes in front of many friends. O infallible one, please excuse me for all these offenses. So Arjuna is having, this is a confession really. Oh, I treated you disrespectfully because I treated you so familiarly. I lay on the same bed with you. I joked with you. I joked about you. I ate with you. So Arjuna is in like this state of rapture, this state of awe. He will return to his original relationship as friend, but here he's in this state of rapture, the state of awe, that because he's exposed to the aspect of Krishna, which is called Virat or universal form. But later he gets back, he gets his composure back, and he returns to being the friend. And we saw that with Mother Jasoda when she also had her vision of the universal form. All of a sudden she started thinking that this is not my child, this is God, this is the supreme. But Krishna didn't want that. He doesn't want to relate to someone who's in Vatsalya Ras, someone who's acting as his parent. He wants to relate to them in the parental loving mood. So when Mother Jasoda had the glimpse of the universal form, and Krishna immediately took that bewilderment away, and then she thought, oh, this is my son. And that's the way Krishna wanted to relate to her. So Arjuna is experiencing this awe-struck, this Aishwarya, this awe and reverence. But eventually it will return to the normal state of affairs as Krishna's most confidential friend. Text 43, and this is 1, 2, 3. I think this is the 9th prayer. You are the father of this complete cosmic manifestation of the moving and the non-moving. You are its worshipable chief, the supreme spiritual master. No one is equal to you, nor can anyone be one with you. How then could there be anyone greater than you within the 3 worlds? O Lord of immeasurable power. Text 44. You are the supreme Lord to be worshipped by every living being, Thus I fall down to offer you my respectful obeisances. So here we have another manifestation of offering respectful obeisance. Now I fall down again and again. First like this, then he falls down and offers his respects. I fall down to offer you my respectful obeisances and ask your mercy. As a father tolerates the impudence of his son, or a friend tolerates the impertinence of a friend, or a wife tolerates the familiarity of her partner, please tolerate the wrongs that I may have done to you. Arjuna then falls to the ground. 45. After seeing this universal form, which I have never seen before, I am gladdened, but at the same time, my mind is disturbed with fear. Therefore, please bestow your grace upon me and reveal again your form as the personality of Godhead, O Lord of Lords, O abode of the universe, O universal form. See, Arjuna is glad that his friend Krishna is so powerful that he is able to exhibit this incredible form. But nevertheless, beholding that awesome form filled him with fear. He's just overtaken by the sheer power of Krishna as manifest in this universal form. His curiosity now satisfied, he was curious about this form, which he had heard of. Arjuna asks Krishna at this point, now please conceal this universal form because it is overwhelming. It is causing the hair to stand on end on my body. It is so powerful, I am fearful. So please return to your form. And again, reveal himself as Krishna. First, however, Arjuna requests Krishna to reveal his Narayan form. So Arjuna is trying to, as I said, for all future reference, to demonstrate how everything is contained within Krishna, whether it's the universal form or the four-armed Narayan feature, all emanate from him. Even Lord Brahma, in his state of ecstasy, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarvakara Karanam. So that's a prayer from Lord Brahma. Ishvara Parama, you are the supreme controller. Who is the supreme controller? Krishna. Sachidananda Vigraha, who contains the qualities of the characteristics of Sat, Chit, and Ananda, eternity, knowledge, and bliss in form. So, Sarvakara Karanam, you are the cause of all causes. So that concludes, O universal form, O thousand-armed Lord, I wish to see you in your four-armed form with helmeted head and with club, wheel, conch, and lotus flower in your hands. I long to see you in that form. So first he longs to see Krishna in the universal form. Now he's saying, I would like to see you in your Narayan feature. When the gopis were looking for Krishna, Krishna played a joke on them, and he appeared in this four-armed feature. But they showed no interest. They showed respect because, it was Lord Narayan, but they were looking for Krishna. The desire to be with Krishna and serve Krishna is overwhelmingly superior to any incarnation or any manifestation of the Supreme. So when the gopis saw the form that Krishna was displaying and tricking them, they pay their respects, but then they asked, have you seen Lord Krishna? Lord Krishna's heart so melted. Bhakti melts the heart of Krishna, and bhakti in turn melts the heart of the practitioner. So when the heart is melted, it's considered to be like soft butter. And then Krishna loves butter, and he takes your heart because it's as soft and wonderful as melted butter. Text 47. Now Krishna speaks after Arjuna has expressed himself in 11 different prayers. Krishna says, "My dear Arjuna, happily have I shown you by my internal potency this supreme universal form within the material world. No one before you has ever seen this primal form, unlimited and full of glaring effulgence." So Krishna's display of the universal form indicates that it is not supreme. Rather, it is contained within Krishna's two-armed form. So, sarvakara karanam, the cause of all causes, the cause of all avatars, all manifestations is Krishna. So Arjuna is recognizing that you are the source of it. Lord Brahma recognizes that. So many different personalities, Narada, Asita, Devala, all the different sages that Arjuna points to, they all recognize that this Krishna is the source of everything. So it's interesting because Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Krishna now is asked Arjuna a question. My dear Arjuna, at your request, I showed you this partial expansion of mine, the Virat Purusha, or the universal person, the universal form. So why has your mind now become disturbed? And why are you saying to me, please be kind to me, and requesting me to show you my human form? So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, quite often in his translations and commentary, he will paraphrase so that we can almost enter into the mind of Krishna or into the mind of Arjuna, so we know exactly why they're saying what they're saying. Text 48, O best of the Kuru warriors, no one before you has ever seen this universal form of mine, for neither by studying the Vedas, nor by performing sacrifices, nor by charity, nor by pious activities, nor by severe penances can I be seen in this form in the material world. Neither sadhana nor personal endeavor can enable one to see the universal form, because it can only be seen by Krishna's devotees who have received the grace of Krishna, the specific benediction to see it, like Mother Jasoda, like sage Uttamka. And even though he didn't deserve it, Krishna showed partially to Duryodhana, just to have Duryodhana wake up. Duryodhana's trying to capture Krishna, and Krishna's trying to wake him up so he doesn't, finish his whole lineage as a result of his foolishness towards Krishna. Text 50. Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, so here we have the secondary pair of discussion, Krishna, Arjuna, Sanjaya, and Dhritarashtra. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, having spoken thus to Arjuna, displayed his real four-armed form, and at last his two-armed form, thus encouraging the fearful Arjuna. So Arjuna was trembling in fear, and in this mood, he is asking Arjuna, please let me see your Narayan form. When he sees the Narayan form of Krishna, of course, he calms down, and then Krishna again returns back to his two-armed form. And now Arjuna moves back into his normal, loving and friend state of mind towards Krishna. Text 51. When Arjuna thus saw Krishna in his original form, he said, "O Janardhan, seeing this human-like form, so very beautiful, I am now composed in mind, and I am restored to my original nature." So Arjuna goes through all that, the fear, the awe, the total overwhelmed, hair standing on end, and coming in contact with Krishna, the two-armed form of Krishna. What happens? Now he becomes composed. So really, that is why we study Gita. We study Gita because Gita will give us our connection with Krishna. And once we understand who that two-armed form actually is, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whom we can have a loving relationship, then our mind, under any and all sets of circumstances, can become composed. That's why Krishna says in the Gita, Matra sparshas kontiya, shitoshna sukha dukkada, agama payano nitya, tung titikshashva bharata. Tolerate. Your mind in a composed state can tolerate whatever challenges. This is the practical point. The practical point is whatever challenges are there, then we can deal with in a composed state of mind. Usually we can't deal with our challenges if we get all disturbed and all anxious and fearful. Then we become overwhelmed by whatever challenge that we are facing. So that's why this connection to the two-armed form of Krishna composes the mind, helps us to see in connection to the Supreme. Beautiful, and the word that Arjuna uses, the beautiful two-armed form. So not the all-powerful, the glaring effulgence and the death faces, and not that, not the four-armed form of which he elicits the mood of awe and reverence, but this two-armed form of Krishna. God with his hair down, God in a relaxed state, who sits under the tree and plays in the groves of Vrindavan, and who plays the flute and enchants all of the animals, the birds and the bees and the cows and the Jamuna River with his flute playing. This personality, the embodiment of peace. That's why Krishna says, Bhoktaram Jagnatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suridam Sarvabhutanam Yajgatva Shantim Richati. Bhoktaram Jagnatapasam means that all sacrifices are meant to be an offering to Krishna. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Everything. We come into this world naked, we leave this world naked. So everything, if we can, in this form, in our mindset, see that connection, that everything is the property, the sole proprietorship is the Supreme. If we can recognize that, and Suridam Sarva Bhutanam, Suridam, within our heart, we understand, recognize that this good association of Krishna, Suridam Sarva Bhutanam, of all living, he's the best friend. When those 3 points, Prabhupada called it the peace formula, when those 3 points are recognized, then composure is there. Recipient of all sacrifice, the owner, the source of everything, and our best friend. Yaj Gyatva Shantim Richjati. Shantim. Then the peace and the composure is there. Okay, text 52, I believe, right? My dear Arjuna, this form of mine you are now seeing is very difficult to behold. Even the demigods are ever seeking the opportunity to see this form, which is so dear. So it is a blessing. It is by grace. Bhakti is the yoga of grace. It is the yoga of mercy. So by Krishna's grace, by Krishna's blessing, we can see this form. So this is bhakti. Bhakti gives us, endows us with Krishna's grace, and being a recipient of that grace, then we have the eyes to see Krishna as he is. Text 53, the form you are seeing with your transcendental eyes cannot be understood simply by studying the Vedas, nor by undergoing serious penances, nor by charity, nor by worship. It is not by these means that one can see me as I am, Krishna states. Then he goes on, my dear Arjuna. So he's saying, okay, the form you are seeing with your transcendental eyes, given to you by my grace, you can't earn your stripes by studying the Vedas, nor by understanding serious penances, nor by charity, nor by worship. It is by these means, it is not by these means. What means can you see me? My dear Arjuna, only by undivided bhakti, devotional service, can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. And Krishna said that in the previous chapter, remember? Tesham satatam yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayantite. Krishna says that you worship me, serve me, and I give you the understanding by which you can come to me, see me, understand me. And here he's saying this again. This is the way you can enter into the mysteries of my understanding. This verse is directly glorifying bhakti. It's one of the quintessential verses of the Bhagavad Gita, because why? It is glorifying the process of bhakti yoga. The word ananya in this verse emphasizes that devotional service should be undivided. It means focused, with no influence of karma or jnana. None of those influences should be there. The primary, they will come. Gyan will come as a result of bhakti. So a separate endeavor, karma, to experience activities that one will get reward for, or jnana. No, that is not what Krishna is looking for here. He's saying bhakti, and bhakti means undivided, or all your energies as an offering to me. And this, there's a Sanskrit word here, praveshtam, and this means to enter into. Krishna says, this is the way you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. Okay, we'll read one more verse and call it the evening. Text 55, My dear Arjuna, he who engages in my pure devotional service, free from the contamination of fruitive activities and mental speculation, he who works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life, and who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me. So I think this is a nice way to end it, because Krishna here is saying bhakti must be performed purely. Devotee must fully engage in the 9 processes of devotional service. Bhakti must be free from karma and jnana. A devotee should not associate with persons who are against Krishna. He should work to become attracted to anything but pure devotion. The work of bhaktas must be for Krishna. A devotee should use his energy fully in Krishna's service while remaining detached from the fruits of his work. Krishna must be the goal of life, mat padama, the supreme goal. The devotee should remain unattracted to both enjoyment, heavenly enjoyment, and impersonal destinations. So all of these things are explained in these verses. Actually, this is the last verse of the 11th chapter. So, wow, we finished yet another chapter. Let's all give a big Haribo for this. Haribo! We finished the 11th chapter, and now we're moving on to chapter 12, which Prabhupada entitles Devotional Service. So you see, as we progress from chapter 7 to chapter 12, how bhakti-oriented the Gita has become. So we'll continue. I'm placing a marker right here, knowing that we start with chapter 12 next Wednesday, the 27th. So I hope you all have the time to spend with me next week, next Wednesday evening. That would be wonderful. And I will give anyone an opportunity who would like to ask a question or make a comment, observation. Please do it now if you like.
I have a
Hare Krishna,
question.
Prabhu. Go ahead, Mataji. I can do it.
So, well, the question is not exactly to this chapter, but it's in regards to Krishna. And, there are many things I love about Krishna. And one of them is that he does not impose his love, or he does not force anyone to love him, right? He makes it voluntarily.
Right.
And
that's the definition of love.
yes, and that's how I feel how this path is different from many other ways, like different Abrahamic religions. So recently, I finished reading the first Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita, and somewhere in the 8th chapter, it says that whoever doesn't believe in Lord Chaitanya is a demon. And at the end of the 17th chapter, it says whoever does not accept the contradictories in the character of Lord Chaitanya and his Leelas, that Krishna who came in the mood of Radharani, then he will burn in hell, and there is no deliverance for such a person. So I feel like this is like it's something that someone is imposing a fear. If you don't believe in me, then something bad is gonna happen to you. So I feel like the Chaitanya Charitamrita, or the mood of Lord Chaitanya, is very different from how Krishna behaves.
Well, I think that's more Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami emphasizing the importance of entering into Krishna Bhakti by going through the means of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita, but didn't demonstrate how to do. He certainly says, my undivided devotional service many times, this is important, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna coming in the mood of Radharani to practically demonstrate. So, especially at the time of after Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there was a lot of false Vaishnavas, people who were imitating, and there were actually, what was it, 13 Apasampradayas? How many knows the exact number for sure? Do you know, Shaktiman? There were, I think it was 13 Apasampradayas, which means after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there was deviation. So that's why the heavy emphasis, taking shelter of Lord Chaitanya, and then one is safe. One will learn the process of devotional service, and one will understand what is the Yuga Dharma, the method in the age of Kali Yuga to attain the shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. So that is why the emphasis is there. And even more is, besides saying that about Lord Chaitanya, or also Lord Nityananda, the statement is, in order to get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, is first getting the mercy of Lord Nityananda. And then there's the story of 13 Apasampradayas, yeah. Does it say the names there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's actually, my wife pulled up, Bhaktivinoda Thakur identifies 13 Apasampradayas that split away from the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya after Lord Chaitanya's disappearance. Aula, Bhau, Kartibaj, Neda, Taravesh, Shani, Sahajya, Sakibeki, Smarta, Jata Goshani, Ativadi, Chudahari, and Goranga Nagari. So that is why there's a heavy reference to following in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers, because practically it was seen that after Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates left the planet, there were unscrupulous people who twisted the meaning of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings or his actions, and they used it for sense gratification. So that is my thought on what you just said, Gayatri.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you.
You're welcome.
In any
Shaktiman?
case, Lakshmi,
Yeah,
if you don't love Krishna or Chaitanya, for that case, you don't get the grace. So it's the same.
right. If you don't get the grace through your practice of bhakti yoga, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did it. Krishna told us, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did it. He chanted the Hare Krishna mantra. He went out into the streets. He heard Bhagavatam. He did all the processes of devotional service for us to see. And then he demonstrated the experience that is there by doing devotional service properly under the guidance of a proper teacher, without karma interest or gyan interest or any kind of speculation. When you look at these different sampradayas, some of them took the mantra and twisted the mantra. Some of them, the sahajyas, they misinterpreted, the conjugal love affairs, that by saying that they could have the conjugal love affairs if they were elevated in mind. Jati Goswamis, I believe, were the birthright. Only if you were born in this particular family could you have access to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his mercy. So they kind of twist it according to their desire, their material desire. They try to use Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his teachings to achieve their own end, which is the opposite of what bhakti is.
And comparing it with Abrahamic religions, it's the same in a different format, because if you don't love sincerely, you don't get anything in any religion.
Right. Look at Saint Francis a time. I mean, it's the whole Catholic Church at that time. Saint Francis did the exact opposite of what the big church leaders were doing. When he walked into that assembly of cardinals and the Pope, everyone was rings, big gems and gold and silks, and Saint Francis walks in with an old robe and barefoot, and his whole life is dedicated to serving Jesus, and it was totally the opposite of what was going on. But yet, look at the level of realization that he did by his connection, his sincere, honest connection to the Supreme. So this is the lesson for us to learn. Shaktiman, did you have a question or a comment?
Yes, so I have a question. I know I've passed this question a couple of times before, but somehow my mind is not convinced. So in this chapter, when Arjuna says, "Show me your real form, the Narayana form," and that's where I get confused, because it gives a strong base to the philosophy there in India. Everyone thinks that everything comes from Vishnu, not from Krishna. So even when Lord Krishna was born in the prison, right? First he comes as Narayana, and then he becomes Krishna. So there are many instances, right? So that's where I'm always confused. So
yeah,
can you please explain to me?
Yeah, but we see definitively in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, "I am the source of everything." He doesn't say Narayan, my Narayan feature, me, Krishna, I am the source. Just as pearls are strung on the thread, I am the truth. There are so many verses that are very, very specific that kind of, puts it into the perspective that the Gaudiyas have in terms of Krishna being supreme. So, and there's a lot more. There's a lot more references in the various Vedic texts to Krishna being the supreme. So, yeah, that. But the Bhagavad Gita itself is that's why the Bhagavad Gita is so important. Every one of the Vaishnava lineages, the 4 Vaishnava lineages, and even Shankaracharya wrote commentary on Bhagavad Gita. They all accept the Gita's importance in terms of the establishment of, an understanding of what is supreme. Of course, Shankaracharya, we know his story, and he comes for that specific reason, to bewilder those that are trying to cheat. But still, he tries to establish that the Supreme is an aspect of Krishna, and that is Brahman, that is an aspect. And that is confirmed in the Bhagavatam, where Brahman eti Paramatmeti Bhagavan iti Shabdyate. In that particular verse, it's confirmed that Krishna has his 3 features. So yeah, this debate, you bring it up. You're from South India, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always under debate because of
in
the
South India,
strength.
they always consider Krishna as a form of Lord Vishnu. They never
Right.
say Vishnu is a form of Lord Krishna.
Yeah, he's
So-
one of the avatars, one of the manifestations of
Right.
Lord. Yeah, this is because Sri Vaishnavism
Yeah.
is very, very strong in the south, and they believe the divine couple is Lakshmi Narayan,
Yeah.
and all other avatars, all the incarnations are a manifestation coming from Narayan.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we turn to the Gita itself, and of course the Bhagavad. Those are our two source materials for establishing Krishna supremacy. And then
Thank you, Prabhu.
what you get into is a whole argument about the meaning of the words in Sanskrit.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
No problem. Hare Krishna. If there are no other questions or comments, thank you all for joining me this evening. It's always wonderful to have your association. And until next time, until next week, next Wednesday, the 27th, you please all have a happy, healthy, and holy week. Until then, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Bol.
Krishna Lakshmi.
Thank you for the class. Thank you.
Hare Bo, Hare Bo.